Is age 65 possibly the worst time to start CPP? In this video, I'm going to show you why that just might be the case, and I'm going to show you why if I was personally going to be starting CPP, I would choose age 64 or age 66 over age 65, and in this video I'm going to explain exactly why that is. Now my name is Owen, I'm an advice-only financial planner and a CFP. Before we take a look at the detailed calculations, let's talk a little bit about CPP and how it works. So age 65 is what we call the calculated CPP amount. That's the amount if you start at the typical retirement age of 65. Every year that you start CPP before age 65 will experience a 7.2% reduction from the age 65 amount. So if you start 5 years earlier at age 60, you're going to see a 36% reduction to your CPP benefit, what it otherwise would have been at age 65. Now, if you choose to delay CPP past age 65, you get an 8.4% increase for every year that you delay. If you delay 5 years all the way until age 70, you're going to get a 42% increase to your CPP benefit. So if you start 5 years early, 36% reduction. If you start 5 years later, a 42% increase. Now, let's take a look at why age 65 might be the worst time to start your CPP benefit. So we're just in our trusty Excel sheet here. We're just going to do some quick calculations on the fly. Now in this example, we've got a calculated CPP benefit at age 65 of $15,000 a year. This is the annual benefit that this person would get if they started at age 65. It's a teensy bit below the maximum at the current time, but let's use this as a good example. Now if they start earlier, we're going to see that 36% reduction. So this amount, when we compare, so that's a reduction of $5,400. And if we can compare that to the calculated amount, we'll see that it's 36% less. So starting 5 years earlier, 36% reduction. If we look at age 70 and we can compare to age 65, we see that it's $6,300 higher. And if we compare to 65, that's a 42% increase. So starting earlier, 36% reduction, starting at age 70 later, 42% increase. But now let's go at year by year and take a look at what the change is. So we're going to call this the dollar increase column here. And the first year, we're going to compare to the first year. So starting at age 61 versus age 60, we're going to get a $1,080 increase for waiting 1 year. So we're giving up $9,600 in benefits. We're waiting 1 year. But by waiting 1 year, we get this incentive. We get to get an extra $1,000 a year, a bit over $1,000 a year. So we're going to get $10,680 every year if we choose to start at 61 versus age 60. And the dollar increase is good, but let's also add in here the percent increase, because we want to see what's that percentage difference for delaying. So it's 11.3% higher. We're getting $1,000 more on $9,600. So that's our 11.3% increase. Now the next year, we get the same increase because it's just that 7.2% of $15,000. So it's the same incentive of $1,000, but now we're giving up more money. Now, instead of us, the opportunity cost being $9,600, the opportunity cost of delaying from age 61 to 62 is now $10,680. So it's a higher opportunity cost, but it's the same benefit. So the percentage incentive here, the percentage increase is going down as we get closer to age 65. So not a big difference, but if we were kind of choosing when to start, delaying 1 year and then a second year, that second year of delay doesn't quite give us the same increase that it did before. And we can keep going here. So we can say, what's that third year? It's now going to be a 9% increase. What's that fourth year? It's only going to be an 8% increase. And what's that fifth year? So what's that year of delaying 64 to 65? It's still a $1,000 increase, $1,080. But now as a percentage, it's only 7.8%. Because unlike that first year we were gaining over $1,000 by giving up $9,600. Now we're only gaining $1,000, but we're giving up almost $14,000. So as a percentage, the incentive is actually going down as we get closer to age 65. But at age 66, that changes. So at age 66, we're getting a higher incentive for delaying that 1 year. So now as a percentage, we're back up to 8.4%. And so if we can keep going down here, we'll see that the percentage just goes down and down. But notice at age 65 that the percentage incentive for delaying from age 64 to age 65 is actually the lowest of the surrounding years. We get a higher incentive for delaying from 65 to 66 than we do from delaying 64 to 65. So this increase here is not as attractive. And this is why if I was deciding when to start my CPP benefit, if I was deciding between 64, 65, or 66, I would either choose 64 or 66, but I wouldn't choose age 65. Now, if you look at detailed CPP break-even analysis, you'll see this play out. You'll see that often the break-even age for delaying CPP until age 66 is earlier or the same as the break-even age for delaying until age 65. And the reason is you get a higher incentive for that extra year of delay. Now, let's just kind of keep going through this. So if we look at age 70, that last year of CPP benefits is actually the lowest incentive of them all. So delaying CPP from age 69 to 70, it's still, an incentive. There's still something there, but as a percentage, we're gaining $1,260, but we're giving up $20,000 of income. So yes, we're going to have $21,000 a year, over $21,000 a year as of age 70 onward. But to get that extra last little bit of income increase from CPP, we're having to give up $20,000 to do so. So the percentage incentive is a little bit lower. I'm going to highlight one other thing here, and this is the real return, because these are all CPP benefits in real dollars, but Canada Pension Plan goes up with inflation every year. So we can sort of say this is the real increase, but now we want to look at the nominal increase. So this is with inflation. And if we assume something like 2.1% inflation, which is the current FP Canada standard, so all CFPs should be using 2.1% inflation for their long-term rate of return assumptions. This is a bit more reflective of what we would do if we were comparing with investment returns. So again, it's still attractive, especially those first few years of delaying CPP. With the inflation adjustment, you're getting a nominal return of 13%. Pretty hard to get that sort of return on your equity portfolio. But as we go down, you can see that return goes down and down as we go forward. There's a little bit less of an incentive here. So if you have a conservative investment portfolio, a balanced investment portfolio, if you have a portfolio with higher investment fees and lower rates of return after fees, delaying CPP is certainly something to consider. It's inflation adjusted. It gives you a good incentive for delaying. But if you're deciding between age 64, 65, and 66, I would say 65 is probably the worst time to start your CPP benefit. Now, every situation is different, so even though we went through a simple example here, there are lots of factors that will affect your CPP benefit. We highly recommend doing a dynamic CPP estimate based on your statement of contributions and future income assumptions. Now, the advice platform, if you haven't signed up already, it will do that estimate for you dynamically. It will also take into account if you're retiring early and those additional zero earning years in your calculations. So by no means should you be using the Service Canada estimate for your CPP benefit unless you are literally retiring tomorrow. Otherwise, their estimate is either grossly overstated or perhaps even understated, and we want to make sure that we're doing a more dynamic estimate for your CPP benefit when you're creating a retirement plan. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. We're coming out with a new video on a regular basis regarding retirement planning specifically. So if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one. Thanks for watching.